I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen.
On a recent visit to our daughter in Vermont, she served these wonderful shrimp appetizers called Lauren's shrimp cakes. And it's a recipe I'm delighted to share with you. I made them recently for a dinner party, and I put out approximately twice as much as I thought we'd need because I knew I could freeze the leftovers. Well, there weren't any. So I know this is something that most people will enjoy a lot. So here we go with the ingredients. I have 2 pounds of shrimp, 2 slices of bacon, which I've roughly chopped. I've got a 5-ounce can of water chestnuts, which I've roughly chopped. I've got a good-sized bunch of scallions, which as you can see I've sliced. And I have 2 slices of sandwich bread, which I soaked in a 1/4 cup of milk and then squeezed as much liquid out as possible and just torn it up roughly. This is called a panade, and it's something used as a thickener. I've got 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and about 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Now we're going to make this in the food processor, sort of in 2 batches. I'm going to mix the flavor ingredients first, and then I'll transfer those to a bowl, and then I'm going to process the shrimp in a couple of batches. So here we go. I'll put the water chestnuts in first. And then we've got our bacon. Some lovely green scallions. And our sandwich bread. Just put the lid on this. And I'm going to pulse it a few times until it's quite well blended. Just going to scrape down the sides. Get those few little pieces that didn't get chopped as finely. You want some texture remaining. The water chestnuts add a lovely sort of little textural crunch to this. I'm just going to transfer this mixture into a bowl. There, and now I'm going to start to process the shrimp. You don't want to grind it into a paste. You also want some texture left in the shrimp. I'm probably going to do this in 3 batches. Okay. All right. I'm going to transfer this, and then I'll continue processing the rest. I've transferred the shrimp to the flavoring mixture, and as you can see, it's processed, but there are still some bits remaining. You don't want to process it into a mush. I'll just give this a slight mix before adding my other ingredients. I should mention that you can also add to this recipe a couple of tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro. Now, there are 2 kinds of people in this world. There are people who like cilantro, and then there's the rest of us. I kind of fall into the rest of us group. But if you do like cilantro, by all means feel free to add a couple of tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro in the beginning when you're combining all the other flavoring ingredients. All right, I'm just, as I said, giving this a little toss. And now I'm going to sprinkle over my cornstarch, my salt, and the pepper. And Now I'm going to fold this until it's well combined. With my mixture ready to go, I'm going to start scooping it out, and I'm using a little ice cream scoop that holds about 1.5 teaspoons. Of course, you can also make these in an entree size serving. And what I'm going to do is scoop this all out. Of course, if you don't have an ice cream scoop like this, you can certainly use a couple of spoons, but I have found these to be such a worthwhile investment, as they are an enormous time saver when you're doing a project like this. You don't want any of that to go to waste. I'll just continue scooping these. Now, of course, the two other ingredients that we need, in addition to the ingredients for the sauce, which I'll give you a little later, are a couple of cups of panko breadcrumbs, those wonderful crispy Japanese breadcrumbs, and you'll also need some vegetable oil for frying. All right, once you have a few scooped out, just drop them in the panko and shape them lightly into a cake with your fingers. And we'll do a few of these, and then I'm heating the oil even as I speak, and we'll fry a few of these up to let you see just how beautiful they are. I've had my oil heating, and I can see it shimmering, but a good way to test and see if it's ready is to take one of the larger crumbs of panko, throw it in, and if you see it begin to sizzle right away, you know your oil is hot enough for frying. And it's important to have the oil hot, because if it isn't, your cakes will absorb extra grease, and you really don't want that. So I'm just going to plop these into the oil, and they only take a few minutes on each side to be lovely and golden brown. Turn that down just a little. I can see they're browning right up, so just turn them right over. And we'll let them cook for a couple of minutes on the other side. I'll just check to see that they're browned on the bottom, and I can see they are beautifully. So I'm going to transfer this to a paper towel lined cookie sheet and let these drain. So the ingredients for our sauce are 3/4 cup of mayonnaise, 1.5 teaspoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and 1/2 teaspoon of finely grated lemon zest. We'll just whisk all these together. And that's all there is to this really lovely sauce that goes so well with the flavors of the shrimp. I think this is one you're really going to enjoy.